Hello and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? What's the haps? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm kind of trying to remember what I've done all week.
What have you done? Anything
What have I done?
fun, spectacular, new apartment?
I went to a Knicks game.
A playoff Knicks game?
The Game 7 Knicks game.
Game
Yes.
7?
Casual.
Really?
Yes.
That's
It was
amazing.
my third Knicks game ever.
Good for you.
Yes.
I saw this. You had good seats.
No, the seats were fine.
They were fine.
The seats were fine, but it was a big game.
Huge. The
Yeah.
biggest.
The biggest game.
I mean, the Knicks have their history. I mean, they're famous team, but also like not a lot of success throughout the year.
Right.
So this is
People
like
were excited.
This is a big moment. And I, personally, like I'm a Celtics fan. But I loved this Knicks team. Like they were like fun to watch and be. It was fun. It added a buzz to the city in a way that you don't see often
Right.
with a local team.
Well, to be at the game where they lost it all, I can say.
And they lost big.
They lost big, and then like the end of it was like kind of like I came in like it was like, okay, I'm doing the sports thing. I'm gonna get into it. Definitely great energy. in
The
Madison
energy
Square
must have been
Garden.
at like a 11.
Awesome. They're giving out like wristbands with like the light up. It's like a whole
Right.
thing. And then they start losing,
Yeah.
and the energy like it just felt weird. Like I was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't go to these games often,
Right.
so I'm kind of like like taking it in as I go. And then towards the end, it's like quite clear that they're not going to win. And then they like kind of stop trying. Do you know what I mean? When you can kind of tell that they're
right.
like,
It's things are done. We've
Right.
the writing's on the wall.
And part of me is like, this seems a little unprofessional. Like, it's a show.
Come
It's not a
on.
game, but it's a show. Like,
Finish it out.
At
yeah.
least like,
Well, I
put
think
a little
also.
more, I don't know.
I don't want to say
and
that.
then it ended just like, you know what I mean? Like it felt like it felt like the energy of when you break up with someone and then you're both just like heading towards the door. Like, okay, I'll walk you out.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like as a fan. I mean, you can't. This is like the ending nobody wanted. This is like, I guess we're done now.
Right.
Like there's nothing more fun than being at a game where you get to be a fan. Fan is the root word of fanatic. You get to be wild and crazy. There's videos of Knicks fans outside of the stadium after like they won, the first series. And it's like people just screaming. It brings a smile to my face every time. They're like yelling at LeBron.
Yeah.
There's a
I
guy
got
just
the
like,
positive.
and you could. I was like hoping they would win. I was cheering for the Knicks. Also, Knicks Celtics would have been fun. Boston, New York. Like you're kind of sports. A lot of times you're cheering for this moment, and sometimes the moment comes, and a lot of times it doesn't. And you were at a time where. I guess, like, especially Game 7, you're expecting to walk out of there high-fiving strangers, and you're walking out and go, guess we should go home now.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you want to do dinner?
Right. That was the exact energy. But I find it interesting seeing there's so many men at these games,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, I don't need to state the obvious. But I do find that it's so interesting that this is the only thing that men are like allowed to act emotive and excited about.
So wild about
Like-
it. Music, maybe. It depends on the
Maybe.
band, I guess.
But
Yeah, right.
like the manly man like can only be it's only like socially acceptable for him to be like pumped up and like
Right.
like you said, like
Excited.
when there's an engagement, the men aren't like screaming and like rallying around each other.
Yeah, Johnny's engaged. He got the ring.
And I wonder if men are so into sports because this is like the only socially acceptable outlet they have to just be really fucking excited about something.
Right. I mean, there's a dream aspect of it that you're part of the team, that they represent you in some way, that when people, like I did a clip about Buffalo. Like there's when I was doing shows in Buffalo, if you've listened to this show for a long time, I've talked a lot of shit about Buffalo. I think Buffalo's fine. Okay. I don't think I think it's a great place to grow up. The community there is great. They
How do
love
you know
their
it's a great
sports.
place to grow up?
You can just tell. There's people know each other. I don't know.
Isn't like Jason Tartick?
Yeah, Jason's a nice guy.
Buffalo,
He
yeah.
seems like he had a nice childhood. I go
Sure.
to all parts of the country and I could understand being from a suburb from outside of this city. And, I was talking about, but it's funny, like the joke I did in Buffalo was like, whenever you go there, they go, "Do you like Buffalo?" And it's on my Instagram. And I go, And the whole premise was like, no, we don't talk about you. You know,
Right.
we don't go home and go fuck Buffalo. Like, no one cares about Buffalo. In the same way I don't care about Cleveland, the same way I don't care about Austin, the same way I don't care about Miami. I care about me. And when you're in Buffalo, you get to sit there and go, the whole world's against us. The Bills, we got to win. That team is tough, just like me and the people of Buffalo. You get to invent
Right.
these narratives that don't exist. Boston's strong. I'm from an area that creates narratives. Everyone, the world versus Boston. And the Knicks, and I will say this as someone who's watched them most of the season, they were a tough group. And everyone in that stadium is going, yes, that's us. It's, you know, there's no superstar. Brunson is 6'1", and he's you know, he shouldn't be as good as he is, and he's great. And I think men, you know, get off to that
Right.
that we're all into this together, pushing the sled up the hill. I don't know. It's I love sports. I love the narrative of sports. You know, I like the stories in the same way someone likes Housewives. You know, the stories.
Or dating. I mean, the way you were
Dating.
just describing, like you go to Buffalo and they're like, "Do you like Buffalo?" I imagined a woman going on the third. Do you like me?
Right.
Like, and you're not even thinking of it. Like, sure.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I'd like you more if you just were more confident.
Right.
If you didn't ask, I'd like you more if
you
didn't-
liked yourself.
If you didn't have to ask, I wouldn't.
Right.
Right.
Maybe I'd want to move here.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy you had a good time. What'd you eat?
We got lunch before, so I
Lunch
wasn't really-
before?
yeah, lunch before.
The game? That's where you're like allowed to eat anything you want.
I don't like love stadium food.
I have like a hankering for it. If I'm going to a stadium, I want popcorn, I want peanuts, I want Cracker Jacks.
I guess.
You know, I want the hot dog. Where'd you go for lunch?
I went to the Smith.
The Smith.
Yeah. You seem disappointed.
No.
You seem disappointed
Good
in
mac
everything.
and cheese at the Smith.
the
Good
mo-
bar, elevated
Yeah.
bar food at the Smith.
Yeah.
Good stuff
Well,
there.
it's interesting. The game is also on a Sunday, so I've spent the whole weekend already. Like
You've done your weekend
done
thing.
eating the things I shouldn't eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, that was a fun time. That's great.
Yeah, it was a great energy.
Until it wasn't.
They gave out these little like towels sponsored by Delta, your favorite.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Team D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Big D.
Big D.
But it was cool. I would go back. I said to Mike,
You'd go back to the Madison Square Garden?
yeah, I
The
said, but
thumbs up from Jordana?
I said to Mike, I was like, next time I come back, I'd like them to win.
Right.
Okay.
Can you guys...
Yeah, like
Get it
this is-
together.
well, he like wishes I were more into sports, and I'm
Is he
like,
a Knicks fan?
yeah. I mean, we're from New York.
Yeah, he was
so
into
I
it?
think,
Okay.
Yeah, he was into it. He was excited. He was betting on the game. He was like
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, I was happy that I could do it. I could go with him because
Enjoy.
it's not something it was definitely better than the other Knicks games I had been to. Which were
Well,
standard
you were
games.
at the
game,
You know,
yes.
like that was... and it's on a Sunday. It has... You know, the celebs are there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's like a... You know, MSG, though, Madison Square Garden, I don't think there's anything like it. The idea that you're in the center of Manhattan watching a game, you walk out, you're like in it. You know, that doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
great for
Usually
those
you're
taking the
fighting
Long Island
traffic.
Railroad.
Ooh. Had to go
It's right
out.
there.
It's right there.
It's
It is
right there, Penn
there.
Station. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. How have you been?
I'm okay. I worked out with a trainer this morning.
I thought you usually do that now. Oh, you
Well, shout out at Forzag.
is it still Forzag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I reached out to him. I was like, I got this month that I'm here in the city, that I'm like,
Change my life.
change me.
Okay.
Make me ready for con. That was what I
Yes.
told Forzag. He's a great trainer. And during the pandemic, you know, I was doing virtual with him. I've trained with him since 2020 and in one way or another. And I've probably seen him in person 5 times.
Wow. Did
Like-
you see him in person?
Yeah, so today, basically I'd been using his old videos and, you know, doing my own thing. And then the problem with me and being on the road is the consistency. And the hardest thing to keep up is like, you know,
Going when you don't
sleep
feel like it. Yeah.
schedule and eating schedule. But I got this rare opportunity where I have a month that I'm here. So I was like, hey, buddy, let's do something. So he's like, let's go twice a week. We'll do virtual on Mondays and I'll get you in the studio on Wednesdays. And I went in today.
Are you going to Rom-Com Field again?
I went back to Rom-Com
taking him to
Field.
Equinox?
I went to Rom-Com Field, which, if you don't know, is a field on the West Side Highway where I've worked out before. and it looks like it's from a rom-com. It looks like one of those
Or
perfect
you'd meet, right? Like
where
a meet
you
cute.
or like me, the ugly friend, would be talking to the hotter friend about his dating life, and you gotta go for her, like that's where they would hang.
Sure.
But we went to this fitness studio today. I don't know. We lifted weights. I haven't lifted heavy in a while. I think there's something.
Nice.
I don't know. Something about lifting made me ravenous. I felt almost ready to like take a woman.
You feel powerful.
I did.
Right?
I there's
Testosterone.
something. There is something about you lift a weight, you get done with that. You're like, just let me grab. I was a caveman.
Did you grab a woman on the street?
Grabbed a woman on the street, made out with her. I said, "Get out of here, toots."
Hot.
I grabbed another woman's ass.
Okay, you're ready for summer.
I was just, I don't know. There's something about lifting a weight.
Also today, beautiful day.
Gorgina.
Yeah.
It is.
Nothing gets you more excited to be like
right
in the city
well,
alive.
Being done with the gym at 10 a.m. and then a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hot
watch
out.
out, women. Because I was
And you just worked
feeling
out,
it.
'cause
Yeah,
you're
I'm
like,
saying
right, yeah.
I was full of, full of cum.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something to that, like post gym. Like the day is now mine.
Oh, totally.
Like,
yeah. You're like, I've done something. You guys all fucking suck because you haven't worked out.
right. You got everyone is a loser except for me.
Yes. I've seized the day.
I have gotten it. So, yeah, it felt really good. And it felt like, I talked to the woman at the coffee shop. I go, I think this is like, I think we've made it. And she's like, what do you want, sir?
There's a line.
Right. Milk or no milk?
Was she friendly?
I went up to her. I go, so I went to this place.
I feel like it's very hard to find a friendly barista.
I can get it out of them.
Okay.
I like to think I can because they started hatred.
Right. Well, there's two kinds of people in this city. There's people who are just like fucking miserable.
Right.
Behind any counter.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just
Don't
like,
blame them.
Right. Well, they're like, what do you want?
Right.
Like,
come on.
Yeah. And then there's the people who are actually like making a joke or like,
right. Well, I think there's like a good
experience.
center ground. Like, I think like you don't want to waste people's time. Like, time is money here. Come on, keep it moving, kid.
Right.
Get out of the way. Come on. Next up. Next. There was a guy. I walked into Madman Espresso. This is in the West Village, Plug City.
It's a fun name.
It's a little tiny coffee shop, and I go in there I'll go in there after I walk back from here. I go in around, it's a late afternoon coffee place for me.
You're really not very caffeine sensitive, huh?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's the one thing.
That's good.
But I spread myself around. I have places for vibes. This place got a nice little outdoor hut to sit in.
You drink it there.
I'll go sit outside for a second, look at my phone. But there's a guy who works there who's fantastic. And I can't remember his name. It's a specific name. This guy's great. So I always he brightens my day. You go in there and he's
You don't know
like,
his name.
Can't remember for the life of me. But you
guys are very close.
We recognize each other. So
Yeah.
I always like chit-chatting with him and
Okay.
nice to see you. How all is well. He wasn't there that day. So I walk in and there's this older man at the counter and this barista is a young woman. And the guy at the counter keeps going, yeah, I don't know. And the guy tried to charge me for water. And I don't know why he tried to charge me for water. And, I've never been to a place where they would charge you for water. And I said to the guy, do you usually charge for water? And then the woman, the barista just looked at him and was like, do you want anything? And the guy goes, oh, I haven't even looked yet. And I go, maybe he charged you for water because of all the time you took.
Right.
And the barista started laughing. And the guy was like, what?
Did you get into a fight?
And he goes, what? I'm getting heckled here. I go, yeah, you're in the way.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
I'm surprised you said that. Were you scared that he would like freak out?
I thought it was jocular. I thought it was jokey.
Right.
I didn't really see
Okay,
it
it
as
wasn't
like
like
mean.
like you're in the way.
No, I was like you're
move.
in the
Right,
because the barista laughed at me making fun of him.
Because people are getting punched every day in the city.
I didn't feel a maniac vibe. This was like an older man that I was
Okay.
like, move,
Did he laugh?
dude. And he kind of he didn't get it. Like he was kept talking, and I could say, like it sounded like me at the beginning of this podcast.
Just going on a rant.
Yeah, he was just going, and then the barista kind of looked at me like, "Thank you for." Like she thought it was just funny,
Right.
and the guy didn't get anything.
You didn't buy anything?
Didn't buy a fucking thing, and I was like happy I said something.
If you go in somewhere, you've got to buy something. I've had to
Especially
buy
that
things
place.
to use the bathroom.
Oh, I am. There's not. I've changed. I may have not been this way. Now I'm big. I really do want to pay it back to the coffee community.
Right. Well, you're like a small coffee shop guy.
I am.
That's your thing.
Do. I wouldn't. I don't go around bragging, but I
Right.
do
I mean,
like supporting a small coffee shop.
I'm part of
You
Big
are
Starbucks.
Big Starbucks.
Big Starbucks.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's really difficult?
Being on the road?
Being on the road.
Where are you going?
I added dates, or one date. I'm going to be in New Orleans and Dallas and Nashville next month. Come, please. New Orleans, do you even exist? Do you get podcasts there?
I think so. A lot of college kids there, right? Ish.
It's ish.
People generally. I don't know.
Come on out. New Orleans, Dallas, Nashville, West Hampton Beach, Milwaukee, Atlantic City, Newark, New Jersey, Sacramento. I'm coming back to Sacktown.
Love it. Did you book your West Hampton Beach hotel?
I saw the woman who offered me the home.
On the street?
On the street.
She
goes,
came up to you?
I'm the one that offered you. And I said, thank you.
I think
And
she DM'd me again.
I think there's multiple people DMing about
There
having
might
a place
be.
in West Hampton. She goes, I usually rent it out. And I go, then rent it out. And she goes, no, but they're not going to be there like on that day. And I'm like, I could already tell it was a bad invite. No offense to her, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But like the idea of like, no. You like I knew like the minute she was like, no. I was like, you rent it out, like make your money, please. Don't waste it on me. I feel horrible. She goes, no. They're not gonna get there until Friday, and they're leaving on
as
Sunday.
long as you're out by 3 a.m.
Right. I could see how much I didn't want this situation.
Okay. So what are you doing?
Also, Cleveland. I need to figure that out.
Okay.
Now, this is one thing
Getting
I
to be
wish I was
crunch
better.
time. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, I'm excited for you for that show and your other shows and your month of Forzag.
Come back in here with abs. Do a shirtless pod.
Love it.
I'm bearded up.
Yeah.
It's really coming in.
Is it itchy?
It's better now. We're past itchy, which makes it harder to get rid of.
Why the beard?
It was kind of like, we're here for a month. Let's beard it up. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it.
I like it. It works.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Some people like it. Some people, it's funny. My mom hates it. So she'll just like respond to every Instagram story with beard, and like emojis
Still
of the guy
there.
with the beard. And I posted like how my mom hates it. And someone wrote back, they're like, it's like I posted my mom hates it. Like, that's funny. Then someone writes back, just, trim it.
Just do it correctly.
I didn't ask for specific,
Right.
critique.
That's the worst when people respond with like how you could do something.
right.
better.
Like, I'm just putting this out because it's funny.
Right.
Like,
You
I'm
weren't
not
like
like
soliciting like how do I optimize my beard?
yeah, right.
Question box.
Right. And I don't like, here's what I'm not in favor of the lined beard look. I see when men do it.
Okay.
And
you
it
don't
always
want
look
it
too lined up.
Too trimmed.
Yeah,
too,
I don't like, I like to look from the woods.
I mean, it goes with your hat.
This,
No,
my
your
hat.
Where is that hat? When's the last time you wore
I
it?
almost wore it today because I
You
was like, it
should've.
goes with the beard, and I was gonna wear it. I didn't wear it. All right, what are we talking about?
Let's
jump right
I'll
in.
just jump right in. Okay. Hi, J&J, longtime listener of the pod. Thank you for getting me through the trenches of dating. So this past weekend, I was supposed to finally meet a guy who I met off of Dillmill, a South Asian dating app that pulls people from all over the country. After like 8 years of on and off talking. Back in 2016, we started off strong and fast, but we weren't in a position to meet in person yet. We would text all day, FaceTime, phone calls, etc. This slowed down, and eventually I had 2 other relationships over that time. He would pop back in every now and then to check in on me. He recently popped back in right after my last relationship ended. It's like he knew, and we have been talking ever since with the intention of meeting soon. Fast forward, I was going to Philly for work, so I extended my trip to meet him in Jersey City, and it was going to be an all-day thing, with lunch, hanging out, dinner, and drinks, and potentially ending the night with some fun. Wink, wink. Day before we were supposed to meet, I texted him letting him know I was excited to meet him, and it went through as text instead of iMessage. I figured his phone was dead or something. I texted him again today.
Must be on the subway.
Totally. 10
2
hours.
days.
I texted him again the day of, and it went through his texts again, and I realized I've been blocked. I emailed and called him multiple times. I realized I was a bit crazy for doing this. I don't think so.
No, not at
personally.
all.
Even emailing a picture from the hotel window proving I was in Jersey City and waiting for him. He finally emailed back saying, I am not in the area. Emergency. And that was it, which I don't believe.
Really?
Neither do I. I had a small feeling he was going to end up standing me up, but leading up to it, we were planning out an itinerary and it seemed well thought out. I ended up going around New York City like a true tourist, which was fun, but I can't help but feel disappointed. I feel like
really? You got stood up in Jersey City.
Seriously.
You should be fucking angry.
I'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have communicated that he wasn't going to be able to make it after all instead of blocking me. You think? Am I wrong for wanting some form of communication, even if it really was an emergency? Thanks. A stood up batch. This
is a extreme example. I want to make sure we stick to I don't want to say happens every day.
right.
Versions of this
yes, sure.
happens every day.
This is a more of
8
extreme
years
version.
over text to finally meet and get stood up. That's an extreme story that would be on the TV show Catfish.
Yes.
Let's acknowledge this is a crazy tale.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't so crazy. This
Yeah.
is a story that happens, but it's not happening every. I don't know.
Versions of it happen all the time. Yes.
It is
Even
so,
if it was like we're supposed to go on a dating app date.
Right.
Right. They
This
don't.
is. I just think it's so interesting the way they're softening their speak to make sure that they're not considered too much.
Right. This is an extreme version of someone I think thinking that they'd be too much when it's so obvious.
Right. And
That
it
they
also
would not
shows how texting with someone can feel very different from both sides of the text.
And FaceTiming.
And FaceTiming. And then she's saying they met on a place called that's for
Dill Mill?
never
Am I
heard
saying
of it.
that right?
South
I don't
Asian
know.
dating app. Which I can understand how that familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on JDate, you feel like you know each other more because you have this cultural thing in common. South Korean dating app. We have this South Korean thing in common. Even though we're from other parts of the country, our families are alike. We've talked about things that are a
Right.
little bit more deep. So I can understand how this gets away from you and you get a little more invested than you would from rando on
Sure.
Bumble or Tinder.
That being said, I think there's a specific psychology to the kind of person who would do this for this long. Be
Right.
talking to someone for 2016, so it's 8 years
Right.
online. And again, I don't think she's like some crazy lunatic. I think a lot of people do this.
This happens.
And I'm trying to think what is the psychology? What is the motivation behind someone who's just willing to talk to someone with no meetup? Not
For 8 years.
For 8 years.
Trump became president, lost the presidency, and is now running
Running
again
again.
in the
Yes.
time this woman spent talking to this guy.
Yeah, it's a lot of time invested in this person. And to me this screams two different things. Obviously, there was no emergency. This guy is he blocked you. That excuse doesn't make any sense. He is being he is lying.
He's lying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know why he's lying.
But him and her have a lot in common in this, what's up with them?
Anyway, right. So I'm saying it takes two to hang tango, and
Right.
just like if you have a situationship for 8 years, it's
Right.
not just it's never one person. It involves two people
Right.
committing to make this dynamic work.
And what happens in this situation a lot is he's the master manipulator and she's the one that was strung along. No. You both kind of get off to these texts that you're getting from each other.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that he came back, they always know. Oh, he knew. Well, you're also putting out pictures
energy, right.
differently than you did when you're in a relationship. You could always, if I went and look who's back on social media a little bit more. I guess the relationship might not be going that well.
Right.
People, when they post on social media, if they're doing well, they're not posting. If they're doing bad, they're posting.
A lot.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'd put money on it. Would I win every time? No.
For
I
sure.
think I'd come out on top a lot.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But I'm saying, yeah, just like that situation, in this situation, it takes two people to make this last this long. Again, not that there's anything, she didn't do anything wrong to make this person, it's not her fault that he stood her up. But I would say,
But she's the only one we can talk to.
I would say the lesson learned from this is again, to reflect in, because she's the only one she can deal with, is what about this situation made me involved in this for so long? Am I lonely? Do I not really want a relationship? Because if I wanted a relationship, I would imagine I would have tried to meet up with someone or moved on to someone that I met in person.
Right. And is this a way of saying, well, at least I got this lever I can pull in case of emergencies that I ever do want a relationship? There's someone that's still talking to me. You feel loved even when you're lonely.
I mean,
just by getting a text from someone, even though you've never like hung out with them.
To me, it definitely rings of some sort of fear of intimacy also, because it's just like, why would you keep doing this for this long? Because if with someone who you're kind of, I think you must know in the back of your head, you're never going to be with this person.
Right.
You have never met them in person. They live in a different state.
And now you're giving it a try for what? You know, you go
to have a fun night.
Well, and then to say like, I can't believe they backed out. Let me give some empathy to the other side on this. You go to the hotel in Jersey City. This ain't going to be like, hey, we're going to meet up and it's just nothing. It's not casual. None of this is casual. It's 8 years, so the idea that this is like a big step for you, the longer you hold out on this, the more this step becomes huge. It's not just two people who met on an app. This is two people she wrote, 8 years, 2016. We FaceTime. We're from the same area, culturally, we're the same.
So he'd rather just maintain the illusion of this thing than have sex?
Well, he loses the thing that he's getting off to.
Which is the idea of her?
The idea. Even her talking. Her email is written in a way to say she's afraid of saying she deserves more because they've never met in person. So he loses the lack of responsibility by meeting up once. Now they've met.
I mean, I think
he owes her something.
I think he already owes her something because he said he was going to meet.
I agree with you, but I think he's rationalized, I think via her allowance too, not to blame her, but she's writing to us saying, do I deserve to feel upset that he didn't meet up with me after 8 years of texting? Yes. But that's the vibe he's getting from her.
That's why it feels manipulative though, from on his end. Because
it's
like, also, if you don't want to meet up with someone, just don't say you're going to meet up with them. Like this whole, he's a liar. That's like, I mean,
right, but
he's a coward too. I think it's just so cowardly.
He is a coward.
Such a liar move to pretend that you had an emergency when you blocked someone. Just say, I don't think I can do this.
Well, that's what he should have done. That'd be the best. And it's weird. We've probably gotten the email in the other direction. Can I break up with someone I've never met before? I think he should have broken up with her.
Right. I mean, instead of letting her go to a hotel, and I mean, that's a sociopathic move to me.
She wrote something very specific, and I want to acknowledge this. And this is the relatable part to me.
Let's hear it.
She wrote something in her email. She wrote, he would pop back in every now and then to check in on me. He recently popped back in right after my last relationship ended. It's like he knew. And we've been talking ever since, the intention of meeting soon. This idea of they always come back. This is something you see online a lot. They always come back.
I say this all the time.
Yeah, well, I would say
I'm one of those TikTok girlies.
You're the TikTok girlie that I'm going to disagree with.
Okay.
They always come back is a short. You're missing half the sentence.
I know. I mean, I agree with that also.
They always come back when there's no consequence. They always come back when they've never been asked to do more. So the idea that and you always see they always come back
the same way they left. Also.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they left this way.
Well, no consequence when they left, no consequence when they come back.
That's it.
Well, that's why boyfriend or fuck off was invented.
Right. And she needs to understand that when you fizzle and someone comes back, when you say emergency and you say nothing, can I be angry?
Right.
And you don't give them a consequence of feeling badly that they've hurt someone's feelings, or you give them the consequences of, I can never speak to you again.
Right. Well,
that if it just leaves off at this, he will come back because, as you said, come back as you left.
Yes. Well, that's the crux of that Matthew Hussey and his wife story, right? Came back, and instead of saying, okay, they always come back, she said, what are you talking about? What are you doing? I don't want to do it like this.
Right. And that gets left out of this they always come back conversation. It gets frustrating because it's always this super cocky person. They always come back. And this person will have someone say to them, well, my husband didn't come to my hotel in Jersey City, and now we're together. They always come back. It's like, no.
No, they never actually works out when they come back.
No, they always come back if they feel that they will not have to deal with a consequence.
Well, and I get why you say they always come back. The same reason I would say it, because when someone rejects you or ghosts you or breadcrumbs you or does whatever of those things, it hits your ego. You feel disposable. And so when they come back, you're like, oh, maybe I don't have to feel that way because like they didn't mean it.
Right.
They actually like are into me.
Well, that's the hard thing because the advice to her is the only way to make him feel consequences is to break up with him.
Right.
She needs a breakup.
She should break up with him.
She needs to break up.
Give her a breakup text.
Hey, you didn't show up to Jersey City. I can't. Jersey City. I can't. I don't think I could get any sadder than that.
It's a little sad.
I was at the Motel 8 in Jersey City off the highway, looking out the window, wondering if everyone that passed was you. Hey, I am happy we met and have had this internet relationship for 8 years.
Was fun.
It was fun. I needed it in some way or another in my life. I need to break up with you. I cannot speak with you anymore. This isn't a real relationship, which is what I'm looking for. The longer we text, the more distracted it will make me from finding the thing I want. You need to stay away, please, so that I can find the thing I want. I only wish you the best. This is the last I'll text with you.
Love that. Perfect
There
text.
it is, right?
Yeah.
Because if she doesn't do that, he will come back.
I think
to get the thing that you're getting from him.
I still think he'll come back if she sends that text.
She's got to block then.
Like
She's
I said,
block.
there's two dysfunctional people
Right.
it takes to make any relationship. It's not like he's just
Right.
like a normal, healthy guy.
Right. I can't
Like,
trust
oh,
an 8-year
okay.
dude who didn't show up.
It's going to be like, that probably is making
Rational.
him more into it. Text you more after that.
Hopefully she blocks as well.
Yes, block.
So let's do the new segment. We had a bunch of friends to lovers submissions, so we want to like kind
Do a
of
couple more.
wring that towel dry. So we got a couple more. Let's do it. Hello, J&J. Heard about your new segment. Thought I'd throw my latest escapade as a mid-30s Canadian guy in the overpriced hat. In the fall of 2023, I was coming out of a long-term relationship and decided to join a private fitness studio in my city that had a 1-month challenge for new members. Do 12 classes in 30 days and win a shirt. Wow.
I can't believe that worked for anyone.
I mean,
Win a shirt?
I love a free shirt. You didn't see the t-shirt toss at the Knicks game?
I didn't get it.
Oh,
T-shirts.
But did you see how
I saw it.
crazy people go?
For a free T-shirt that they could wear that's probably like an XXL they can't wear anywhere.
You want to see passion? Watch people respond to a t-shirt gun.
Wow.
Pe-
I didn't
people
realize you
go,
were a free T-shirt guy.
Oh, I love a free merch.
Wow. Swag?
Swag. There's an in-season NBA tournament that they just started doing this year. And I always thought, you ever go, like some games, they'll be like, if they steal a base, everyone in the stadium gets a hot dog. Or if they hit a free throw.
That's more exciting to me.
Okay, free throw, everyone gets a Taco Bell taco.
Okay.
I always thought the in-season tournament for the NBA, people are like, why would anyone care? Make each team sponsored by one like fast food company. And then if that fast food company, if that team wins, everyone in the town gets like a free thing from the fast food company. People would go nuts.
They would love that.
Like if the Celtics
it's like
were
in Survivor when they give them like Taco Bell or
Right.
something and they all like freak out.
everyone goes nuts.
Yeah.
So if the Celtics were like the Dunkin' Donuts team in the in-season tournament, if they won, everyone got an iced coffee.
Yeah.
The city of Boston would burn.
Exactly. I mean, I love
I'm
it.
just an ideas guy.
Chief marketing officer of Dunkin', we won't even say that you got it here. We'll let you keep
I'll
this
say.
one. You would say.
I'd talk about it the rest of my life. Okay, so do 12 classes in 30 days, win a shirt. Wow. The same day I started, so did this girl. We happened to hit the same classes over the next month. Not only was she beautiful, but also a teacher. Not afraid to work hard and get sweaty.
How do you
What
feel
a
about
woman. Teacher, I'm out.
Beautiful, but also
Yeah.
a teacher.
So people come up to me at shows, they're like, I know you hate, I don't hate, can you imagine that's
Right,
what
it's a
people take
running
away from
joke,
this? It's a
yeah.
running joke. I wouldn't fuck one.
Or date one.
Or date one.
Take one seriously. And spit in their
a
face.
joke.
But doesn't mean I hate them.
Can you imagine if I had like a child and like this joke kept on through?
Right, and the teachers found out about the joke.
Found out.
God forbid your child needs to see a speech pathologist.
Oh my God,
You're going to be fucked. Your kid's never going to speak.
Dad, why didn't I learn how to talk? Well, no one would take you.
The entire speech pathology community.
How come I can't pronounce my R's? Well,
Because you were blacklisted.
Daddy had an issue with the speech pathologists of America. All right. She made a comment during a workout one day about earning a margarita later. And I took that opportunity to invite her out as friends to a new Mexican place I'd been wanting to try. It turned out she was also coming out of a long-term relationship, so we were in very similar places. A few platonic hangs later, one Sunday, she was hungover, invited me to join in watching some British comedy. The afternoon bled into the night. We enjoyed some drinks, got into some very explicit conversations. Eventually, it went from her saying, "You know we would never work," to us making out. That's how all makeouts start. Then weeks later, to sex, after lots of back and forth about whether that was a good idea.
Why wouldn't that be a good idea?
Because they both know, or one of them knows, it's not going to work out. Like, I think this is the talk. Like, to me, that the idea that they were friends is bullshit.
Of course
you
not,
met a hot woman at a workout class that you invited to margaritas. That's called being into someone.
Right.
Like the
when
idea,
were you friends? Because you had two platonic because you didn't make out for two of the dates.
Right.
That doesn't make you friends.
You don't just go up to, you didn't close your eyes and then whoever your finger landed on, you went to margaritas with and made out with randomly. Like, that's not how it works.
You're not friends.
You ain't friends. You know we would never, and then you start making out, you go, you know we would never work. It's like, I think there's people are getting ahead. They're getting ahead of like, I don't want to have to end this at any time, but I do want to fuck this person. Mm-hmm. Then weeks later to sex after lots of back and forth about whether that was a good idea. For what? What are you going to ruin the fitness class? Like, but what will the teacher say?
The 30 days will be over by the time this is done.
Right. We've been dating since the start of the new year. Things are tricky right now. Situationship, but that's a separate email. I think that's this email.
That's the email.
This is
what
the
else
email.
is part of the email?
Thank you for countless hours of laughs and bite-sized relationship wisdom these last several years. Keep up the good work and all the best to Jordana with her renos. I just got through moving myself from squats to thrusts. I like the sign off. No, this is
such a man email. What do you mean? Like that's besides the point. Like that's the whole point.
The whole point is you met a woman in your fitness class that you don't want to be with seriously, but you do want to fuck.
Very
and
annoying.
To get ahead of that and any breakup, you basically said to them, could this ever work? Could two people who have no friends in common
right
and go to
no
the
reason
same
not
gym?
that they couldn't be in a relationship?
Right.
Be in a
this is more likely than 8 years on a South Korean dating app.
For sure.
Like, this is like a real story of how people meet.
Why couldn't it work? Why is it a separate? Why are things tricky right now? He's annoying me.
Right.
Just commit.
Or don't.
Just lock it in. Or
or
leave.
don't. Like, this will they, won't they. You're not Jim and Pam and she's married to someone else. Like,
right.
We're both out of long-term relationships.
What's the point of this email?
To let us know he fucked some woman in his fitness
That's
class.
what I'm saying.
Bragging.
That's not even friends to lovers. You're annoying me.
This is workout to stud.
Fuck boy. You're over. All right.
Well, or just say to her, hey, I just enjoy your company and I'm out of a relationship and I'm looking to be single. I'm down to keep getting margaritas and fuck.
And then do whatever you want.
And do whatever you want.
After you say that.
Right. And if you're not up for that, I just want to make sure I'm...
That's the thing. Like, things don't have to be so tricky. If
Right.
people just like said what they meant, then things wouldn't be tricky.
How will two people in their 30s ever come together?
Who have the same habits and find each other attractive and love working out and have so much in common and live next to each other.
Right.
How could we make it work?
Right. The idea that you can't make it work is crazy. Let's do another.
All right. J&J, love the pod. I'm a 28-year-old single man, and I have a problem regarding relationships versus my career.
Well, if you heard our last answer, you know we handle the men with kid gloves.
I'm an officer in the military, and have been since I was 22.
Thank you for your service.
Since I joined after graduating from college, I've noticed that my career has had impacts on my dating life, especially regarding traveling and moving from place to place every few years. In the last 6 months, 2 women that I was dating broke things off with me after 3 or 4 dates due to my career and the possibility that I will have to move within the next year to somewhere new. I have no idea where. I've had 2 serious relationships, both around a year, and one of them ended for a similar reason. All of them have had a similar reason. You're great, but your job will make you move, and I don't want to leave where I live. I love my job, but it's getting frustrating to hear that. Although I am sure that I'm not perfect and there are other problems, I'm starting to wonder if people like me in these sort of jobs will just always have these problems and there's nothing to do about it. Jared, since you travel a lot for your career down the road, I wonder if you have any insights from a career-driven bitch.
I have insights, but like, here's the thing. I don't have the answer because I don't have the answer for myself.
Okay.
So what I will say to him is he has 2 things going on. One, military man, military bases, they're spread throughout the country. I'm going to assume you're near smaller towns. It's not like there isn't like a military base abutting New York City. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the type of women that you might be meeting on apps and things like that who aren't in the military are probably less likely to like be ready to go on this big wherever you go, I go adventure.
You think?
I just think when you stick to your hometown, you're comfortable in your hometown. Mm-hmm. If you're sticking to small town life.
I had a different take.
But I guess to add on to that, I do think that if he was excited about these people, then he would make it work. I think this is more in his hands than he's actually saying.
I actually think if these people were more excited about him, then they would make it work.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I think that, you say this about men saying that kind of thing all the time. I think if you go on 3 or 4 dates and you decide you're not interested in someone, this is an easy thing to say. No one likes saying, I just didn't feel it. To say, it seems like you move a lot. I'm not really interested in that lifestyle is an easier way to end things with someone than to say, I just couldn't get there.
Right. It's not the match. It's not the circumstance. It's the match.
Right. I think at least in some of the scenarios that seems like that might be a thing. And he happens to have a situation where there's a very easy excuse built in if you.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you from the other side as well. Because I think you're right.
Right.
I think you're right, but I agree that the idea that the person that he's supposed to be with couldn't happen because of this move is
That's what I'm saying.
A false.
That's false. Right.
False.
I think
he's stuck on it.
Right. I think most women, actually, I would say maybe more women than men, would move for love.
Right.
Would be if they were like, it's not like people who are in the army are like mostly married. Are they not? They all get married super young.
They get married super young. Yeah.
And maybe that's part of it, so that they're like, someone feels incentivized to move. But I also think like, if this were a true issue, you would find most army guys single, and I don't think that's the case.
Right. And what you hear from, especially when I've traveled, like I've been to towns that have military.
Mm-hmm. How many women have said that they would move for you?
I've had a few that are like,
probably
whatever
many,
happens, we'll figure it out.
And so I'm saying
that's why I don't buy the story.
From them.
Like, yeah. But I would also say, what you hear from women in towns where there's military is they feel that these guys kind of use it.
Use what?
Like you meet men on the dating apps that are in the military and they kind of use it as a get out of jail free card.
Yeah. Any circumstance that someone has where you don't have to say I don't like you.
Right. You take it.
Was be taken on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for him, he's got to get off this narrative.
I agree. I don't think it's helping him.
It's not helping.
Making him feel more insecure.
Right. And if you go on these dates and have a fun time, like the idea, like you might meet someone who's older, who's like the ghost of Christmas future. Like they'll never stay with you if you keep moving cities. But like there's not more of them than there are the alternative.
There's more people I think who would move for someone
who have found someone that way. Yeah. Yeah.
I would move for someone that I was like fully hit it off with.
Well, we kind of talk about this in our Sunday special that's coming up, but I think he's got to like act as if. That was always a sales technique. Mm-hmm. I'm going to act as if the person I like the most is going to move with me.
Right. Call her your girlfriend.
Right. Like, hey, and I think that's the thing everyone says. The minute it's right, it's easy. And that will be for you too. But you have to like not blame the circumstance for woe is me, dating is tough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that if
you're
he,
right.
like you said, if he acts as if like, yeah, I'm looking for someone to settle down with, they probably have to move with me to whatever base I'm going to.
Right.
I don't think that would be, again, if someone were interested in you, I don't think that would be interested enough. I don't think that would stop them.
You'd figure it out.
How many emails do we get from women that are like, he might leave and like, I really like him. And then should I like, if he wanted them to go with them, they would usually be pretty happy.
Right. And I think, but I guess for him, I would say like the original point of view I had, I guess is for him, if he keeps bringing it up, it'll sound like you're signaling to people that you're looking for an out.
Also true. Yeah.
Too. So I think he's got to get off the subject.
I agree. Let it come up naturally.
Right. Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
UUP at Betches.com, UUP at Betches.com. Send in your red flag deal breakers. Today is a very special red flag deal breaker. Let me start.
Excited.
I'm excited. The last one. Stick around, kids.
Stay till the end.
Stay till the end because I got chills.
Chills.
I did.
Wow.
Chilly bumps. Okay, red flag or deal breaker. Hi, J&J. A while back, I started dating this guy who checked many of my boxes.
That's what she said.
However, I noticed that he had a habit of telling what seemed like pointless white lies. For instance, he mentioned being part of a band with his friends and renting a space for weekly practices. As it turned out, the band only comprised of him and his brother playing different instruments on the keyboard at his brother's house. Similarly, he claimed to be passionate about cooking and trying out new recipes, but in reality, he just ordered meal kits every week. On another occasion, he declared having had his tonsils removed as a child, only to find out that it was his sister who had them removed. That's a pretty big lie.
That's pretty, I would say that's different than the other two.
Right. These instances were
two are exaggerations, one is a lie.
Right. They're all manipulative. These instances were just a few among many other small white lies he told. I never confronted him about them because I figured people sometimes embellish things when they're trying to make a good impression at the start of dating, as well as the lies seemed fairly inconsequential. Looking back, though, I realized it was excessive. In the end, he was the one who ended things between us, so I guess it was a red flag. What are your thoughts? Sincerely, Pinocchio Pursuer. What do you think?
I think it's a deal breaker because these lies are like lies to make him seem more impressive. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's someone who's not self-aware and I think is like insecure.
Right.
And so that's the deal breaker.
Deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
I think, this is like...
Although I don't know why getting your tonsils out when it's more impressive.
I guess like...
You're trying to tell a story, I guess. Yeah.
Right. It's manipulative.
Yeah.
Because I play in a band is not... I strum in the garage with my brother.
Right. I'd prefer someone who undersells themselves.
Absolutely,
right.
But that's a confident person. This is a self-conscious person who's trying to get you to like them more so that you're stuck. Happens in comedy a lot, where people embellish the sad so that people will laugh when they're funny, like them more when they're funny. To me, that's not my cup of tea for comedy. I'd rather someone embellish the funny.
Right.
Because they've earned through the good setup.
The thing. I think anytime someone's trying to hack their way to an end, it just never feels good.
This is a hack.
Yeah.
This is a total hack. And it would, and it's gonna, starts at white lies and it ends with, the house is under your name and all the debt is yours.
with what's his name? With, what was that? Dear Dirty John?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Second Family.
Right. Let's do another.
All right. They wear jorts on a plane. Hey, you up. Thought of a good red flag or deal breaker. Went on a date recently and the guy said he was flying to Florida in the morning. Since it would be hot when he landed, he said he was just going to wear jean shorts on the plane. Something about denim and exposed thighs on a dirty plane gave me the ick. Psychotic or just another Florida man? So red flag or deal breaker. He thinks wearing jorts on a plane is socially acceptable. Signed, joggers in the airport only.
I've heard this before. This issue.
The jorts thing?
shorts on a plane. There are some people that are like anti-shorts on a plane, anti-legs touching plane, skin touching plane. I could not be more opposite of opinion of this.
You wear jorts?
He's going to Florida. I want to walk off. I want to be on the beach.
Yeah, beach by
wear
noon.
my
You got
beach
no
by noon.
time to waste.
Right. I have a friend who feels similarly to this emailer. Like the idea that like, how could anyone wear shorts on a plane? I'm like, I could. Easily.
I don't mind shorts on a plane. I'm not like that. I'm not that big of a
Sandals
germaphobe.
on a plane?
Sandals on a plane. I'm going for.
I don't
I like
care.
to take my shoes off on the plane.
I don't mind as long as the person's not like flicking around the flip flop with their toe. Like that's a lot.
I don't think I would go barefoot on the ground of the plane. That seems a little excessive. But
I don't even care.
socks on the plane, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I don't really like men in jean shorts. That
Okay.
much. I'm not a fan of jean shorts look on men.
I have 2 pairs of jean shorts.
Okay.
One in black, one in the blue. I liked them because they were stretchy and they were like wearing, they had the feeling of hugging your leg in a
Flattering.
jean way, a little
Okay.
flattering,
Yeah.
show off my ass.
Yeah.
After those lifts when I'm grabbing women.
Any which way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm a jean. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the fashion's out.
I don't know that much about fashion, so I can't say if they're in or they're out.
don't
It's not
either.
a look that I like on men.
I don't like a loose jean short. I don't want to I want like a
You want a
jean
fitted,
to feel like
tight,
a jean.
tight
Yeah.
jean shorts.
Show off these cams. These gams.
Show off the groin.
Right. I want my balls out on a plane. No, I couldn't if I saw there.
I don't know. Do you guys know fashion? Or are jean shorts socially acceptable?
Candace,
I'm not that into them.
there's a lot of women that like are on. They only care about fashion trends. I think it's got to fit the person. Like.
Right.
I'd rather like it fits what they comfort and I don't know, maybe that's a little
Yeah.
hokey, like if you're confident in what you wear,
but
you
wearing
look great.
wearing shorts on a plane, no issue to me.
No issue.
Yeah, if this is like cargos and everything, I don't really care. I can't really think of a guy in like jean shorts.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it.
I'm thinking of what my shorts look like.
I
And
don't
that's
think Mike
weird.
owns jean shorts.
Couldn't see Mike in
if he
jean
did,
shorts.
I don't think I would enjoy it.
No, that's a guy I don't see in jean shorts. I've worn them. I'll wear them next time I'm on the show.
Wear them next time.
Yeah.
Wear them. Bring them to con.
I'll wear them to con. I feel like people get con. You go to Europe, women. What do you wear? I wear a baseball jersey.
Bring a Speedo. That's what they wear in Europe.
I'll be speedoed up.
Love it.
My
Can't wait.
dad wore a Speedo until I was like 30.
I feel like that was a thing in like until you were 30. Until he was 30 or you were 30?
I was 30.
Oh wow.
My dad used to
Okay,
wear
that's what I
Speedos
was gonna
so
say. I
much.
think that was a thing in the 80s.
No.
And I'm like,
Well, my family.
I thought you were gonna say until he was 30, and I was
no,
like, that makes sense.
He was a big Speedo guy with a tank top on.
so
He
what
looked
made him
Winnie
stop
the
when
Pooh-ing.
you were 30?
It
I'm too
wasn't
old
like
for
my
this,
birthday
son.
present. No, my dad. We go on family vacations.
Where's
He
the
would.
Speedo? Wow.
We were. I think we had a kind of a Euro vibe. Like my grandparents had a pool growing up.
Topless beaches for the Freeds?
And, I was topless.
I mean, is your mom?
No. We would. My dad used to always wear Speedos, always. And at a certain age, he stopped. I think it became. I think he was convinced out of it, maybe. But he was. I mean,
When you
it was
were
like
still,
a
like,
running
within the
joke with
past
like family
decade.
friends.
Yeah.
That we would all, but we all. I grew up with. He'd wear Speedos.
You have a picture?
Every picture.
Send it to Candace. Let's let the You Up listeners see it.
Like my grandparents' pool, they had like a little tiny like a bathroom where all the suits were.
Okay.
And me and all the cousins, like we all shared the suits. Like
Oh, they let.
we just all leave our bathing suits in there.
Oh.
And it was all Speedos. Like if you go look at like family pictures, like all the
Everyone's
kids,
in Speedos.
pretty much until a certain age. Like it
I
was.
didn't realize you guys were that kind of family.
I didn't think so either. I mean, we used to go. This is when I was young,
Right.
but like old enough to.
I mean, you said when you were 30. That was 9 years ago.
Well, I wasn't in the Speedo, but my dad was
Right.
at the beach.
So I'm saying he's been wearing them for
Right.
quite a bit.
Yeah. It
I
was.
wonder what
always-
changed his mind. Find out. Do a
I'll
story
find out.
worth. Why don't you wear Speedos
Dad,
anymore?
why'd you stop wearing Speedos? I miss them.
Put it in the book.
All right, ready? Listen, this last one is a lot of fun for us because we love a You Up success story. Now, a few years ago, 2020, summer 2020,
Yes.
we did a red flag or deal breaker.
I remember like recording this because I think I was in South Carolina. I was,
Okay.
in prime COVID.
And a woman wrote in, right? It was a woman
Was it?
first wrote in,
Oh, yes.
being like, hey, I went on a date with a guy and he got, well, we're going to play it?
It was who gets to decide where you quarantine as a couple. Classic
Wow.
May 2020 episode title. An episode.
Absolutely.
You can't get more May 2020 than this title. Who gets to decide where you quarantine as a couple, featuring Mark Manson.
So she wrote in asking, red flag or deal breaker, I went on a date with a guy who ordered milk with his food. Yeah, read it, Candace, read it for us.
Yeah, her red flag or deal breaker was pretty straightforward. In the May 6th, 2020 episode, it was you go to meet your boyfriend or girlfriend's parents for the first time, and at dinner, each member of the family drinks a glass of milk with their meal.
Yes, there were
Right.
brothers. There
It
was
was
like a
all the
family. It
whole
was like a ton of
family.
brothers. They're like drinking a ton of milk and then doing tricks and shit.
Right. And we answered that. This is our answer to that?
Well, and then he was on a Zoom call, as we all were in quarantine with our friends. So he was on a Zoom call with her and her friends, and they asked him if he was drinking a glass of milk and started laughing. He caught on to something weird going on. He listened to our podcast later.
Yes, and
He
then
heard you
wrote
guys
in a
answer the
defense-
red flag or deal breaker
Yes.
and realized that his girlfriend wrote in about him. So this is his letter to
So
you guys.
this
So he
is
wrote
his
in
letter from-
in defense of drinking milk, and that email where we're gonna play it is this relationship real or just a quarantine distraction? Another classic COVID title.
Literally 20 days later, we talked about it
Yes.
again. And it's famous, like on this show, there's a couple of things that come up over the years. People remember this.
Yes.
So we're going to play his email response to her asking if he's a red flag or deal breaker, drinking milk with his family at dinner. Okay, let's hear
Let's
it.
hear it.
Hey You Up podcast. A couple weeks ago, I had my new way out of my league girlfriend come over to meet my family for the first time. I guess I have a large and intimidating family because I have 5 brothers and no sisters. So my girlfriend was a little nervous to deal with that level of testosterone. My family also thought it was a big deal because it's not every day a new female meets the family. So my family and I made this fancy ass steak and potatoes dinner, just trying to impress her. But at dinner, I noticed her acting a bit strange, but I thought it might be because there are 7 males yelling and joking at the dinner table. I thought she was so nervous that she forgot to take a sip of her drink, or so I thought. After dinner, she went home and I didn't think much of it. Fast forward a week and I'm Zooming with my girl and her friends. I noticed one of them asked me if I was drinking milk during the Zoom. I said no, but I thought the question was odd. Everyone else in the room is dying laughing. Then later in the Zoom, we proceeded to play red flag.
Women are so obvious when they, as a group, have made fun of you.
Talking shit.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like, are you drinking milk? And then everyone, like as if he's gonna go. I guess there's nothing in that milk comment. It's just nothing.
I'm like thinking of scenarios where like my friends and I have done the same thing. It's
Just
like,
laugh in people's faces.
what a loser.
Yeah. Oh, got milk, and he's like, obviously, I
What?
know there's a thing going on here. Yeah.
Then later in the Zoom, we proceeded to play red flag or deal breaker. I'm no idiot, probably because I drink a lot of milk, and I know that group of friends write into your show often. So I listened to your most recent podcast, great stuff, by the way, and I noticed that my girlfriend wrote the red flag or deal breaker about the family drinking milk at dinner.
Wow.
That was a good one. We did that with Mark
Yeah.
Manson. So I guess I will start with this. Drinking milk is a deal maker. There is a reason my brothers and I are all above 6 feet and have never once broken a bone. I personally
Genetics.
have fallen from multiple ladders, crashed a motorcycle into a tree, and gotten T-boned by a car going 25 on my bicycle. As kids, we played a game where literally the objective was to see how many brothers you could throw off the roof of our house. The last one on the roof won. The worst.
What are they, the wrestling
The worst
movie?
my brothers and I
What's
got
it called?
was just a couple of scratches and a membership card to the local emergency room. Never once broke a bone. There's only one reason you can conclude on why we were immortal: milk. Milk is delicious and nutritious and helps grow big and strong bones. Have you ever seen the ad, Got Milk? It wants people to drink more milk. My brothers and I drink a gallon of milk every night at dinner. We once had a serious conversation about buying a cow because of how much money we spent on milk. Milk is going away, just as family dinners are going away. We should bring them back. Our country would be a lot
Wonder who this guy's voting
stronger,
for.
I have a
or at least they would have bigger
a
bones.
sneaking
Let's end the
suspicion.
milk stigma together. So I guess my question is red flag or deal breaker? My girlfriend asked podcast if what I did was a red flag or deal breaker.
Wow. What? And so that is the trip down memory lane.
This is now 4 years later, almost to the day, because it's May 22nd.
Wow.
May 22nd,
wow.
2024.
It's May 22nd, 2024.
Yes.
We're out of COVID.
What's your stance on milk right now?
I'm in.
I don't remember what our stance was. back
Well,
then.
I can't. I'm like, I don't think I'm good with milk. I think that would like maybe ruin my night.
Okay. You lactose intolerant?
I don't know. I've never checked. I just know that milk products mean,
Bathroom?
yeah. What do you, how are you with milk?
I love milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like milk. I'll have a glass of almond milk with a cookie.
Oh,
Sometimes.
excuse me. Wild woman.
It's quite crazy. Yeah, on a Saturday night,
Why
from
not?
letting loose.
Whoa, good for you. Look
Yeah.
at it. I didn't realize.
I'm a huge fan of milk.
So I think I want to get back into milk.
Yeah,
Maybe just
you just
try.
said you have. It gives. Why don't you do
Maybe I should-
lactose free?
Like a pussy?
I'm gonna tell Mike you said that. He buys the.
Does he really?
He's also quite milk.
I think I have an issue, but I would never like get it checked or like look into it. But
right, like some sort of pansy
right, some loser nerd
taking care of their health.
Well, I do remember this email, and I loved this guy writing it. I love that
It was fun.
so much fun. I love that he found out. And it is funny, the idea that, like, maybe he doesn't know that I want to be in a relationship. It's like this guy zooms in, drinking milk. Like, he used his emotional intelligence to then go to the podcast that he knows she listens to, look it up, find it. Like, let's remember, men are not
Very
that
romantic.
stupid. It's romantic. It's nice.
Yes.
So now we got this email. Almost 4 years to the day. You up. I just wanted to provide an update to the milkman. The woman referenced in the red flag or deal breaker is now going to be my wife. Look, he even talks like a milk drinker.
He does. That sounds like the self assurance of someone who thinks that drinking milk is what caused him to be 6'2".
Right, that ain't a 2% sentence. That's a whole milk sentence. So confirmed, milk is a deal maker, not a deal breaker. Red flag or deal breaker, having a White Russian be my signature drink at our wedding.
The next part's the best.
This is the best. I would invite you guys to our wedding, but the numbers are tight.
You could have just said nothing.
Right.
Could have just said nothing.
Thanks for showing my email on your podcast. It is always funny talking to people who know you guys. Seems everyone remembers the milk story. We did get like numbers of emails
Became a
after.
thing.
It became
We were
going
gonna
to
make shirts. We didn't.
Right.
We thought about
Let me
it.
know if you have any other funny suggestions to do at the wedding to incorporate milk. Milk somehow has become a defining characteristic of our relationship. Thanks. Somehow, of course it did. This is like the most fun thing
Yeah.
for a couple to share. They were on a podcast with a lot of listeners.
People know.
People know, and people remembered your story because they took something away from it. They loved the idea of the friends making fun of the boyfriend who's there for the joke and wrote in and was
Love
fun
it.
with it. Like, of course, this is great.
Yeah, and a great light story in the darkness of COVID times.
Right.
Look at
People
that.
were probably feeling like, what a I came up with the luxury lounge during COVID.
Also,
because-
just the idea of like Zooming with your girlfriend and her friends would never happen now.
No, it's over.
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
But I remember coming up with the luxury lounge because like you weren't allowed to complain about anything except for COVID.
That
during
was
COVID.
that was so great.
And so you could
Safest
write
place
in
on the internet.
Safest place on the internet. Write in with any complaint you have. I think this is a version of that where you got to like have fun with a milk story
Mm-hmm.
during a time, May 2020, where you're like not sure of anything. You're
Right.
in lockdown, I think, at that time too.
Totally.
So this gave me chills to read. I have to say, and I'm happy for that. I want them at the wedding to take a picture of them with milk in their hand.
yeah, and send it to
Send
us.
it to
We'll
us.
put it on the.
We don't
we'll
need
put
an
it-
invite.
we'll-
We weren't going to come anyways.
Yeah.
Fuck your fucking wedding.
Now we don't have to get you a gift.
Right. Fuck your farm wedding.
No, DM us or email us a picture of you guys at your wedding. What is in a White Russian? Let me see.
White Russian, great. I love that idea from him
I
as
have
a
it pulled
signature
up.
drink.
It's vodka, coffee, liqueur, cream. Not really. It's cream. Cream is different than milk. That's
Well, it has the look of milk at least.
Yeah.
At least it's So I came up with some other ideas of some milk related
Let's hear
things
it.
to do at the wedding.
breastfeeding.
Take out that chick's titty and just start sucking on it at the altar. That's right. How'd you know?
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to. I'm sorry to. I'm sorry to release the joke.
Milk and cookies for dessert.
Love it.
Got to do it. the groom should be, the best man should toast everyone with milk.
Like that?
The best man should give
What
his
kind?
speech with whole milk.
Whole. Oh, right. I mean,
They're
that's kind
whole
of,
milk
yeah, whole
drinkers.
milk. Whole milk or cream. Yeah.
Right. That's got to be part of the best man's speech, where he raised your glass of milk to
Okay.
the milk couples, the milkmans.
Love it.
Picture booth that is a cardboard cutout of a cow, with the face cut out, like,
Oh, yeah,
how they
yeah.
have those
And
big,
the farmer?
the cow and the farmer.
Okay.
Make that a picture
Love it.
spot. Got milk campaigns that people can get done in a photo booth. So like you go in a photo booth and the out thing is got milk, and somehow that relates to their hashtag got milk.
Yes.
If
I like it. One of
right?
the famous, they get to pick from one of the famous
Whatever, they
pictures,
can put the mustache on
Yes.
each other in the photo booth. I'm sure a photo booth could be worked out to make that happen. Also, alcoholic milkshakes for dessert.
It's kind of like an espresso martini.
Espresso
Right?
martini, but
Ish.
like,
Yeah.
the Black Tap
Oh, yeah,
Tavern
yeah.
used to have like
I like that.
boozy.
I had one more.
Yeah.
Milk ice luge. Instead of
Love
vodka, you want it cold. You want it cold.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Everyone
Cold
takes
glass of
shots.
milk. So cookies with a milk ice luge.
Yeah, milk ice luge also something that is back now when it was definitely not okay in COVID. You were not sharing the ice luge to take shots
Right.
back then. So come back in style.
Love it. So this was a pleasure to read and
Send
what
us
a
the
trip
pictures.
down
We'll put it on the
memory lane.
Instagram.
Yes,
Yeah.
please, please, please. So I guess this is what I said at the end of this email.
Let's hear it.
We should all be aspiring to date the person who can sit as an adult with their 5 siblings having a nice glass of milk. I think that's nice. And then they all go upstairs and toss each other off the roof. Yeah, for one last roof toss. Well, Jordana, another fantastic episode. We did it again.
We did it again. We're still
There
doing
is,
it again.
And we're still doing it again.
proud of us.
Milk people, tell your friends, tell your milk friends.
Yeah, and if the National Milk Society wants to sponsor this show,
We'll take your money.
we'll do it. And we'll be back on Sunday.
Boom.
Bye. The U Up Podcast is produced by Candace Maniga and Shannon Sassone. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candace Maniga. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.